This is Shockwave News. You can find me online at shockwavenews.com and, of course, twitter.com/Shockwave News 1. I'm also on Spreaker. That's Spreaker.com/Shockwave News. And, of course, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel there that's just getting started, Shockwave News Live. You can go to youtube.com/Shockwave News Live. And, of course, last but not least, Anchor. That's anchor.fm, anchor.fm/Shockwave News. Now let's get into the news here. Like, share, subscribe if you like this podcast and get anything out of it. Your subscriptions, your donations, they always help to keep us on the air. Okay, this article comes from naturalnews.com. That's naturalnews.com. The article is dated, of course, today, June 30th, 2020, Tuesday. The article just says in the headline, "We're in a cultural civil war. It's time for conservatives to fight back." Well, don't you know that? The article goes on to say, the daily spectacle of angry mobs pulling down statues, taunting police, attacking passersby, and taking over the entire city blocks makes it seem like Black Lives Matter is a mass movement. That's pretty much everyone except a knuckle-dragging Trump supporters is on board with its radical agenda, and the new national consensus is that you're either anti-racist or racist. Okay, that's what the article is saying. Under these conditions, many ordinary Americans feel disoriented, discouraged, confusion abounds. When did it become racist to like the national anthem and to Mount Rushmore? At what point did George Washington and Abraham Lincoln decide that what did we decide that these two gentlemen, these legends of history in our United States, our U.S. history, when did we decide that they became moral monsters? Or that all the police are racist and thugs? Why are rioters, looters allowed to terrorize people, destroy property with impunity? Why aren't local elected leaders enforcing the law? If you think it's happening in America right now, you're crazy. You're not alone. It's true. Something's changed. We're in the middle of a crisis. That's a cultural civil war crisis that's underway and escalating. Well, let me just stop right there. I do understand the president, and he feels limited to what he can do because it's election year. You have to understand, in this country, United States of America, that they always put on a good show. Anytime a politician, including a president, that goes as well, not just President Trump, but that's many, many, many presidents all the way back. Anytime you're in, folks, an election year cycle, this is the election year, this is the big one, the national. You have your midterms, which fall in between, and then you have your national election, presidential election, which happens to fall this year. Well, you feel that you have to cater to the crowds. You feel that you have to, whatever they want, just throw them. It's kind of like feeding the birds. You just have to feed the birds. The birds are out there. The birds are out there making bunches of noise. So you feed them a bunch of bird seed and hope that they go away. You know, and that's kind of what it is with politicians. They have the same approach. Their constituency rather, they make a lot of noise and want this and want that, want you to do this, want you to do that. And they say, yeah, okay, just give us your money, give us your support, we'll do whatever. So they throw out a few crackers and a few crumbs to the would-be supporters, whoever the politician is, whether they're left or right, it doesn't matter. It's the same game that goes on. It's been going on since I've been alive. I've been alive over 50 years here. So it's the same game that's been going on. It's a nonstop game. And where has that gotten us? That's gotten us absolutely positively nowhere. And so I alluded back to the point here that President Trump can't really do too much because it's election year. But why do these Antifa and BLM, Black Lives Matter, why can they run loose on the streets? Nobody enforced the law. They're rioting, they're looting. In some cases, people have even gotten killed, and then they always blame everything on the police. Now, there's a couple occasions the police did do something bad, and they do need to go face justice, and they do need to face justice under the court of the law and be prosecuted to the fullest extreme of the law, fullest extent. Well, why are we not doing anything to BLM and to Antifa? Why? Where in the hell are all of the conservatives right now? Isn't it about time we decide to get off our ass and fight back? And somebody would say, well, you need to fight back. You need to do that. Well, I fight back, but I fight back in the realm of ideas. I fight back on news media. I fight back on social media networks. That's how I'm able to fight back. I'm not able to take on thousands and thousands of people, but I am able to fight back with my platform and my voice, especially on my other channel. I'm able to fight back, and I'm able to fight back very, very hard and push back when all this chaos keeps erupting. And I let them know that if you come down here, and if you come down to Central Florida, and if you come in my neighborhood, and if you come on my block, and if you start that crazy-ass BS down here, someone will probably end up getting hurt, and it's not going to be me. Because the American people, and again, I'm speaking for myself and my listeners, hopefully, the American people are tired of this shit. We're absolutely fed up and tired of this shit. Taking down statues, ripping things off, looting, rioting, stealing, vandalism, arson. None of that has to do with George Floyd. Not a damn bit of it has to do with George Floyd. And I would just say to you people, what the hell are you people doing? It doesn't have anything about Black Lives Matter. I'm just going to set the record straight. If you don't like it or not, then the hell with you and screw you. Kiss my ass. All lives matter. All lives matter. All lives matter under God. We're a creation of God and God's image through Adam. Of course, there are people out there. There are people that are atheists. There are people that are agnostic. There are people that are Satanist. There are people all over the Muslim with respect to that, and all these different religions that would say, you're full of crap. Well, that's fine. You can believe whatever the hell you want to believe. But rioting, stealing, arson, and when people start getting killed, that's not how you handle things. That's not at all how you handle things. Let's go back to the article here as I finish up the article. But it's not true. A majority movement. It's not true that America fundamentally changed overnight. Hordes of protesters, and impressive as they seem, don't represent the country at large. According to Pew, about 6% of adults have participated in a rally or a protest at the end of the month, or on a month in the last month. As they skew young, urban, democratic, less than 20 million people, a lot to be sure, but nothing close to the majority. Let me run you the numbers here, folks, in case you don't know. The numbers here, and I might be off by 1 million, maybe 2 if I'm lucky, but not very many. The numbers are as follows. We have about 300 and pretty close to 27 to 30 million people here. So if there's less than 20 million people, as the article is saying, approximately, they're rioting and this and that. I mean, you can do the numbers. You might have 3 to 5% wanting to take over the entire United States. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. And again, I call on my fellow conservatives. I call on my libertarian friends. I call on people that understand freedom and understand liberty. And I call on you folks, and I love you, brothers and sisters in arms, to take up and to go out there. And if you can't physically fight, that's not what we're asking. We're not asking you to go out there and physically fight. We're asking you to just go out there and use your voice and make your voice heard. Where the hell is the right? I'm nonpartisan, which everybody knows, but I'm asking in this particular case, where the hell is the right? Where the hell are the libertarians? Where the hell are the patriots? Where the hell are you guys? Where are you guys? Am I the only one speaking up on this podcast? I mean, I know that there's a few. I can name maybe a half a dozen, and that's not very many considering there's about 327 to 330 million people in this country. That's not that doesn't even get on the scale. Where the fuck are you guys? What's wrong with you people? Get off your asses. Get out there. Quit letting these people bully you around. The gentleman down there, I think in St. Louis or wherever hell he's from, I applaud you. He was out there with his AR-15 and the wife was out there with a pistol. And they wanted to start some bullshit and come and wreck his multi-million-dollar home. And he says, no way, Jose. You're going to go past me, and who wants to be the first 10 that's going to drop? Because that's what it's going to be. You know, anybody that knows anything about an automatic weapon knows that it's rapid fire. And if it's rapid fire, that means by the time, if I'm standing 30 feet away, basically, I think there was 30 or 40 feet. There was a little bit of distance between him. He was up in his yard and the sidewalk. By the time they get up that 30 or 40 feet, there's going to be at least 10 to 15 that are either dead or wounded. So who wants to be the first 10 or 15 that wants to die? And this is what it's come down to. And I know this scares a lot of you people. This scares the hell out of me as well. I would always laugh, and when my father was alive, he'd always tell me, he'd say, you know, I'm probably not going to be around to see the end, which he passed in February 2016. God bless him. But he says, you'll probably be around for most of this shit that goes down. And I was telling my father, I was saying, Dad, you know, I hope I'm not alive. I hope I'm long gone, and I don't want to be around for this shit. But guess what? Here I am, and I'm here. And here you are, and you're here too. You're listening to this podcast. You've got to do something, folks. Again, if you can't make your voices heard, or you can't physically be out there and stop the protesters, then you can make your voices heard, okay? You can get on the phone. You can call your local congressman. You can get on the internet. You can get on different sites. There's a new site I'm on. It's Parler, Parler.com. That's Parler.com. It's a new site. A lot of libertarians like myself and a lot of conservatives are starting to go there. Because Twitter, let's face it, Twitter is a bunch of BS. There's a bunch of left-wing a-holes on Twitter. Facebook, I don't even want to get into Facebook. I've been on Facebook probably 5 times in my life and it gotten off, on, off. This is the last time. Like I said, I'm over 50. This is the absolute last shot. I'm only on Facebook just for some, so I can contact mostly my high school friends and relatives up north there in Michigan. So that's the only reason. My sister's on there, my cousins are on there, and that's the only reason. Other than that, and I try to stay the hell off of Facebook and away from Facebook. There'll be a point in time where I'll post something again on my Facebook page, and what will they do? The typical things they usually do. They'll block me, or they'll give me a warning, and I'll say, you know, I've absolutely positively had enough of your crap. Enough is enough, and I'll get off for good, and I won't ever go back again. The only reason is just for family and close friends right now, but even that'll come to pass. If they want to get a hold of you, they can call my cell. All right, let me finish up the article here, folks. In some sense, the entire psychological, relatively small group of left-wing activists is using a cult classic psychology to wage psychological war against the rest of us. They are using the vanguard of what can only be described as a religious movement in America. Indeed, Black Lives Matter is a tenant ideology, contains all elements of a religion. It promulgates doctrines that are explicitly normative. It has cosmology, and its morality claims are not subject or consistent with scientific proof. This religious movement, unlike anything we've seen before, because unlike established religions, it's formally secular enough to be allowed purely secular institutions of public life. This is why Black Lives Matter agenda and the New York Times 1619 Project are being taught openly in the public schools. It's why corporate America and professional sports have embraced the cult of wokeness. It's why Hollywood is scrambling to figure out and adhere to the new doctrines, often in embarrassingly overly racist ways. America hangs in the balance. Democrats who run our cities, they're not lifting a finger, folks. They're not doing anything. They want to let this spread. And again, as I've said many, 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 many times on my other podcast, their ideals and their ideology is to burn the whole place down. Again, this is not for George Floyd. They're using George Floyd as a cover. They're using a dead man as a cover. This is not. This is much bigger than that. It's all about total chaos and control. And the end game is they want to get rid of President Trump. And the only way to do it is they've gone from the Russiagate, nothing, and then they've gone to My Coronavirus. The My Coronavirus scam didn't work. Now they're going to Black Lives Matter, Antifa. They're noticing this is kind of petering out, other than there's a couple cities, namely in Seattle, Washington, which you have them creeps, thugs, and a-holes running a 8-block, I believe, area of downtown Seattle, Washington. Okay. A group called Chaz. They're running that, these thugs. If you die there in that 8-block downtown district, then you die, because cops won't go there, fire and rescue, emergency workers won't go there. You're going to die. They don't give a crap. The Democratic mayors and governors want to collapse the state. It's like, what do I have to do but yell up and down and come through this microphone and grab you right by the shirt collar, grab you right by the throat and say, wake the fuck up. We're in a war, a culture war against the Democratic Party. We're in a culture war against Black Lives Matter. We're in a culture war against Antifa. They're terrorist groups. Black Lives Matter and Antifa are. The Democratic Party is being ran by Soros. Soros will spend billions and billions and billions of dollars, and he has it, George Soros, in order to take down the United States. Again, I call on anybody and everybody listening to this podcast a call to action to get off your fat friggin' butt right now, get off your $1 million ass, and go do something. Go make a phone call to your congressman. You can Google the number, whatever state, whatever county, city, state you live in. Call your local congressman. Give him or her an earful. You can also, if you want to protest, I only ask that you protest peacefully. Don't destroy people's livelihoods like Black Lives Matter and Antifa are doing. Don't do that, because then you become what you're trying to defeat. You become just like them. You become ensnarled in the net and snarled in the trap. You become just as bad, if not worse. And then, of course, take to social media. For some of us that are very, very busy, and we got a family and everything else, sometimes you have to take to social media sometimes. And that's the avenue, along with this podcast, that goes out to all over Apple, Spotify, everywhere. The podcast, you name it, even on Google and Android. this podcast is being broadcast to. So I'm all over the place. So that's what sometimes you have to do. Just take whatever means God gives you and just use whatever talents you have. If I can't physically go out there and protest every day, every hour, peaceful protest, then I have to take to the airwaves. I have to take to podcasting. I have to go on to social media. You have to do what you have to do, but you at least have to show up to the race if you're going to win. And right now, I'm just not seeing conservatives. Where the hell are you conservatives? Where the hell are you libertarians? Where the hell are you constitutionalists? Where the hell are all my Patriots Act? Please, I'm begging. Where the hell are you guys? I can't fight this race alone. I can't fight this fight alone. I need your help. Please, I'm asking. Where are you? Come out of the woodwork. Only coming out to vote in November is foolish. You need to protest peacefully, again, very peacefully. You need to talk to your congressman or congresswoman. You need to protest on social media. Like I said, I just started an account. I have two accounts. Well, this one, Shockwave News, on Parler.com. That's Parler, Parler.com. Get the hell out of Twitter. You know, somebody asked me, well, you know, your accounts are pretty big on Twitter. How are you going to move that over? Well, that's my problem. I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out with time to migrate over completely to Parler. Right now, it's a start. Got a few thousand people and growing. So please listen to this broadcast. Listen to this podcast. Please stay safe. And God bless everybody out there. Like, share, subscribe if you like the podcast. And most importantly, stay safe. And just do something. And God bless you. This is Shockwave News, signing off.